But you had a fun trip at
Disneyland. Yeah, the California one. It was great.
It's nuts. I watched some breakdowns and it looks really good. And although you can tell like this one, obviously he dies, but I saw some of the successful ones and it's not like you can't tell it's a robot, but it looks really good.
Yes.
Like the movie Waterworld?
The movie Waterworld, they have a stunt show that is like multitudes of times better than the actual movie.
Now, Waterworld, you walk in, is that the first thing you go see? Or is this like last couple of days of the trip, you're like, okay, we scratched everything. What can we try? And we go see Waterworld.
Well, we did Universal on the last day, so I was trying to hit everything at Universal.
Because I'm not like pushing people out of the way to go see Waterworld.
Dude, you would. Pretending to be a hot girl on the internet and getting like guys to like pay for his flights to wherever you wanted to go.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Have you heard of the chick who's selling her farts online? So there's that little snippet.
Can you read that back to me? And who's the guy from Jurassic Park? Goldblum.
I think people will be surprised. But unsurprised by what they see. Yeah. And yeah, so it's that kind of thing. Goldblum.
Thank you.
It's the worst Goldblum impression ever.
It wasn't the worst.
If you get the that's 90% of it, but you still have to sort of get his cadence. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Plastic Cards Podcast, a show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavin Jones. It's been too long. I don't know my freaking name anymore. Sure? I don't. Who knows, Gavin? Gavin, it's been a minute. How you been?
It has been. It's been. We had. I think we had a couple COVID scares that we were.
The world right now is one big COVID scare.
Yeah, I know.
With this Omicron,
I went to Disneyland. It's been kind of all over.
Yeah. I've been holding it down here at home, doing nothing.
I mean, that's the thing to do. I don't know. You handed me the list of that's what you've been playing the other day, and you rolled out the fucking scroll of games you've been playing.
Yeah, but it's like I always do, where it's half an hour of something, move on to the next thing. I tried a little bit of what's that, Forgotten City?
See, and that one, it slightly kills me that you may have only done half an hour, because I think it took me half an hour to go, oh, I kind of get it.
Yeah, it was a bit boring. I wanted to keep going. And
it's a lot of talking.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where I want to keep going just so I don't feel like a complete idiot.
Right.
Where I'm like, everyone loves this game, and it's like there's a lot of talking, a lot of reading. It's free, so I do want to try it again just because people love it. Yeah. But yeah, it was just, I could tell, okay, something's going on, and I knew going into combat, if anything is very light, that's cool. I'm down for a story, but it was just a bit boring. But I do want to jump back in. I didn't give it enough time. But yes, that was my initial imprint, was like, okay, is anybody gonna, something gonna explode?
No, they're all just gonna talk at you.
Yeah, and that's fine. I knew that.
4 hours.
Yeah, I knew that.
I would be curious. I feel like the answer is still no, but I'd be curious if Megan is more into it. Because
maybe
she's a big Elder Scrolls fan.
Right.
And this is it feels still, even though it's on a Unreal and whatever, it still feels like an Elder Scrolls
mod. Because it started as a Skyrim mod, right? Or something from that.
Yeah, no, and it still feels like that. Like they left the shitty, once you eventually get the bow, it's like, oh, you worked to keep that shit.
To replicate the jankiness of that.
Yes, it is fully replicated.
Interesting. But yeah, while you're gone, it also snowed like 2 feet.
Right.
So you missed that. That was pretty cool.
I'm partially glad I missed it, but also not, because like I tried to plow my driveway, but it's all just frozen solid. I also got stuck in your driveway just trying to pull it behind you, so I'm mostly in the street right now.
Oh, no. Well, that's fine. I can help you push it too. That happened to my Honda, and it was when there was a bunch of snow last week. Where I pulled out, got stuck, had Megan help me push it back into place.
That's what I said. Yeah. That whole list of...
Yes. And I took okay, that was just not a retelling of my life. But I took the Jeep instead, because she's like working from home. It's like, why don't I use this 4x4 monster that can pop the snow? And I'm trying to make it work in my dinky little Honda.
My concern, and I told you this via text, is my concern is like, yes, and her car is awesome, and I love it, and I want to see it preserved. It looks like it should be in Halo.
Yeah, it's pretty much that.
But it takes one fucking dumbass to destroy that car, no matter how good you are at driving.
Yeah. Although I'm pretty, as I drive, just whatever. Like I try to be thinking ahead of shitty drivers. Right. There's always that classic, like when someone's driving towards you with their blinker on, don't assume they're going to turn, so you can then take off. Like assume that they've left it on like an asshole and they're going to plow into you. Like you have to kind of be, aggressive isn't the right word, but like cautious, because everyone sucks at driving. Just to assume that. But
Well, that's always the unique thing. Like, I think as a society, we're very divided. But, like, it's nice when we're all driving in the snow because it's that one time where it's like, we're all on the same team, and the team is get to or from work safely.
But we're not, though, because you'll have, then it splinters again. Because you have the shitty drivers in the snow, or you have these trucks that think they can plow through anything, so they're going like a million miles an hour. Then you'll see them get stuck further ahead of you. It's like, okay.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, we still splinter off, and like nothing can really unify us. I think there was that time when COVID kind of first was fresh on the scene. We're sort of holding hands together, even though I guess we have to be distant.
You do not work with an entire team of conspiracy theorists,
okay, so
because you would not be able to.
Even that's like, we had maybe 5 minutes. We're like, okay, we're kind of locked together on this, facing this pandemic, but then we still like all the different theories and stuff split off, and then we disagree again. I think after 9/11, there was like a week where everyone was like, America, we're together, and then it was a shit show right after that too.
This is I have a new you mentioned the trucks though, driving like crazy through the snow. This is a term I would like to get, and this will get me canceled, but this is my term I'd like to introduce, is the Texas drivers after last year, which is they have these giant fucking trucks and don't know how to drive in the snow.
Oh, do they get much snow over there though?
No, but last year they got destroyed.
Oh,
well, it was mostly their power grid, and they couldn't get fuel.
True.
There's a bigger thing, like to the few. Like I had one person I'm friends with, on Facebook that was in Texas, and she was legit concerned because she didn't have power for like several weeks.
That's not good.
No.
And then
what the
Flint
fuck are you gonna do? Your stove is electric.
Right. Everything's electric.
Yeah.
But then you hear that, and Flint's like, hold my dirty water. We haven't had clean water in, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. Has anybody fixed that?
I check in on this like every 2 years. I think it was like 14 years to get that fixed. But the problem is everyone in this town has PTSD. They're afraid of drinking their own water.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks. So it's all just Gatorade for them and like soda or whatever.
Yeah, they're still drinking bottled water to this day, which
that sucks.
There's a lot of people do, but because like I don't like the mild lead taste in my pipes, right? Not there's a lot of
they poured all the lead in their pipes. It's just like solid water coming out.
Yeah.
That stinks. But you had a fun trip at Disney World, Disneyland?
Disneyland, yeah, the California one. It was great. We went to Universal Studios, which I've never been to.
Yeah, as a kid, did you guys go to any crazy landmarks or parks, whatever?
No, we didn't have like, we weren't poor as a kid. We didn't have like vacation money.
Yeah, that's a same boat where I think we took one trip as a kid because we had family that lived in California, but I was like 4. That was the last time. So I have vague
so you're
memories.
not even old enough to really appreciate it.
No.
That sucks.
But yeah.
And that was the thing that killed me there too. There's so many people with like newborns and like very, very young kids. And like, I get that maybe it's probably more for the parents. Like they have a Disney addiction and they want to go no matter what. But like, these kids are not going to give a shit.
And it's too expensive to take like a toddler who doesn't give 2 fucks. Like you're saying, it's like way too expensive for that. Because everything you walk in, I was listening to a comic talk about it. It's like, you want a hat, $35. You want a straw, here's $10. Like everything is just jacked up to make money as soon as you get through the door. Mm-hmm. Were you able to navigate knowing what to buy, or it was just like, it's a crapshoot, like you're going to spend money no matter what?
I don't think any of us really bought too much.
But like food, you need like basic stuff, which I'm sure is crazy expensive.
We did food, yeah. That was pretty expensive. But we didn't go to. I mean, for me, it's the memories. Like I don't give a shit about stuff.
Sure, yeah. I'm the same way.
That being said, like I try, like I got a little bit of stuff for you guys. I regret not getting Indiana Jones stuff for one of my friends.
Oh,
who's super into that.
What they have, like the whip, the hat.
They did have
the boulder.
Yes, they had the boulder. You take the boulder home with you. Also, that ride was interesting. We rode that like 1,000 times, and everyone in my girlfriend's family, that's who I went with, is super into that ride, and I don't fucking get it.
What was it?
It's like you're on like a roller coaster, right? You're on a thing on top of the roller coaster, and it's pneumatic, and it like shakes you around.
Okay.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like you're on a fake roller coaster on top of a fake roller coaster as spooky stuff is happening at you. Whereas they have other roller coaster, which dope ass shit happens to you while you're also on a dope ass roller coaster. Why is anyone picking the shitty one?
Right.
So.
But your family or your girlfriend's family was like, we want the shitty one.
We wrote it so many times. We waited in that line.
How are the lines? I was thinking about that when you were
their new fast pass system, or they used to have fast passes. They've had a lot of. I actually watched a video on all the systems they had over the years. It was an hour-long video on the amount of systems they've had to handle these lines. But they have this new app. It's called Lightning Lanes. And
it's always got to be like fast words to go with. Like it's always got to be like Speedy Gonzalez or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But it actually works phenomenally. If you basically want to hit everything in a day, the only thing is for the fancy Star Wars ride. There are 2 new Star Wars rides. And for the one that, like, I don't know how many miles this thing covers. It has to be fucking huge. But because there's so many parts where you can't see what's going on, you have no idea how big it is.
Yeah. I was going to look up Star Wars rides.
Yeah.
Disney World?
Rise of the Resistance is what it's called.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And they have like live action performers there too in addition to it, or it's all just like a thing?
Yeah, they have some live action performers. But this thing, the first time we got in there, we should have ridden it twice, because the first time we rode it, the line was only there. There's a hologram.
How's a hologram in person?
It looks like, you always know, like when you see these on stage in like video, like, it's technically 2D on just like a mesh screen, but
gotcha.
Like you can't really see that in a video, but in person you can really tell.
Oh, okay.
That it is just 2D on a mesh screen.
Gotcha.
But
so your indie game dev mind was like picking it apart.
Not even that. It's like, we're a human. We've looked at a million humans in our lives. We know what the fuck they look like. This is a projection on a flat screen.
Sure.
But I like that they got the actual actors, and they put, it's a cheesy performance for this dumbass storyline, and they gave it their all, and I think that makes it more fun. I appreciate that they're willing to do that.
Have you seen any of these Star Wars movies?
I saw the first one.
Okay. I feel like a little bit of.
I hear it goes downhill from there.
Gotcha. I'm glad. Did you go to because I have like Marvel stuff now too, right?
Are they just gonna walk through the whole thing? We didn't go to the other side with California Adventure, which I hear has all the Marvel stuff. It has they turned Tower of Terror, rest in peace, I love that ride, but into the new Rocket Raccoon ride.
Oh, Guardians, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently it's pretty fun.
That's the thing. I feel like that'd be wasted on you, because if you had to watch any Marvel movies, you'd be like, oh, what's that guy? Oh, that's cool.
I have watched some. I've watched the Guardians ones. Those are amazing. I do think I'm gonna blitz through all the Spider-Man stuff.
Oh, you got to. You know what? That reminds me.
Due to everyone's praise, and also the spoilers are starting to just leak out.
Oh, they're everywhere. So here, let me show you this thing.
Okay. Is it just the spoilers? Is that what we've got?
No, it's
Oh, is this the thing they did for whatever theme park?
Yeah, so apparently if you go to that Marvel side, they have this and it's animatronic. It's an animatronic Spider-Man that's flinging around, which is pretty dope, but this one didn't work correctly.
Oh no.
So you see him just
oh, that sucks.
Eat shit.
They've been working on, I remember seeing the first concept footage of that. They've been working on that tech for like 15 years.
It's nuts. I watched some breakdowns and it looks really good. And although you can tell like this one, obviously he dies, but I saw some of the successful ones and it's not like you can't tell it's a robot, but it looks really good. I'm just saying, like, people are like walking around saying like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was a robot. It's like you can tell, but it looks dope still.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's if you lift your, what's the term? It's like my immersion level or whatever. You're willing to elevate your level of immersion to accept things that are not real.
Right.
And that's why, like, there are some movies, you go back and watch movies where it's like the CG is terrible, but you're still like, this is my shit because the story was good, the acting was good. I don't give a fuck. It's amazing. And then, like, you watch the new Hobbit and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's all CG. I could watch this Spider-Man eat shit all day. But there's people also there walking around that don't care at all.
I don't
the
think
Spider-Man just took one to the dome right there.
Oh boy.
It's great. But most of the time I guess it works, and it's great, like, feat of, engineering to show that they could nail this. But it's also, I think of Disney going like, hey, how can we not pay people to do this as much as possible? Robot. Okay, cool.
That being said, so that reminded me, so we went to Universal Studio, and to this day they still have the fucking Waterworld stunt show from like when we were like 6.
Waterworld?
Yes.
Like the movie Waterworld?
The movie Waterworld, they have a stunt show that is like multitudes of times better than the actual movie.
Awesome.
It is insane. It is like a stunt show in this like water arena that is fucking tiny.
Ooh. Did you get to see it, or you just kind of walked by?
No, we went and saw it. Luckily stood outside the splash zone because some of these like people amping up the crowd were just determined it would get people absolutely drenched.
Now, Waterworld, you walk in, is that the first thing you go see? Or is this like last couple of days of the trip, you're like, okay, we scratched everything. What can we try? And we go see Waterworld.
Well, we did Universal on the last day, so I was trying to hit everything at Universal.
Because I'm not like pushing people out of the way to go see Waterworld.
Dude, you would if you saw it. It was fucking amazing. These are incredibly talented stunt actors.
I guess they've always kept it around, so it must mean it's been a dope show.
Oh, it's insane. Like the acts they're doing, the stunts they're doing are incredibly dangerous.
Oh.
Like some of these falls, like you don't think about how, driving in. So is that the full size boat? Yeah, that was the full size boat. And like this canal is barely bigger than this boat. And they'll have that going at the same time as like two jet skis and all this stuff.
And Kevin Costner is there?
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Costner is there. A lot of these stunt doubles or the stunt actors are from stuff like Westworld. That stunt right there is shockingly dangerous. Those,
I think
like,
he just fell on
accident. But if you hit your neck wrong, they have special padding for that. People being lit on fire. Most of this was on fire by the end of it. They launch a fucking plane through the side of it.
Dang. There's effects that look like somebody shooting at the water, like pop up of water, like from a bullet hole or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Is that? Are they shooting something at the water, or do they have things just below the surface to pop up air? Because they're also driving boats around it, so it can't be like right below the surface.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
That's cool. So you got to see that.
That was one of the best parts. Oh, you can see the construction of Harry Potter Land in the background. That's cool. Dang. So right there, that's the towers back there.
And now that's built since you've been there.
Yeah,
like,
it is built. Done. It is insane because they like shrank down the scale, but like from a distance you can't see, and as you're getting closer it looks like it's getting ginormous until you're right up front, and then it's very shrunk.
Is that a part of Disney, or is that Universal? Is a different company?
That's Universal.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So are they like really close to each other, or you have to drive further away for Universal?
It was about an hour.
Okay.
So it was interesting too, like between the two, because Disneyland nobody wore a fucking mask.
Oh really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are their rules there? Just whatever you feel.
Are
like
there rules? I don't know. They like if you're in an indoor ride, you had to put on a mask, and they're like, "Oh, this is their motion to say, hey, put on your mask." They're very cute about it. And then in Orlando or in
Universal
Land, Universal, like, hey, do you and your family want to go on this ride? Then you put on the mask.
Well, you think Disney would be
ruin their vacation because you don't want to wear a mask? They're wearing a mask.
That's crazy. I think Disney would be more hard-nosed about that because they're just such a huge company with more on the line than, I guess, Universal. But
Disney also had like thousands more people in their park. My longest wait for a ride at Universal was 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But it was the average was 5, and by like 5 the longest I think it was 35 for the Simpsons ride because that was the newest. Everything else was a 5-minute wait. We did not have to wait.
Wow. But did you have to pay much more for this like super duper fast pass or whatever?
There was no fast pass at there is a fast pass at Universal, but you don't need one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's $20 a day for the one at Disney.
Okay, not bad.
That's fine.
But that's just so you can then pay for the ticket, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha,
which was also nice too, because some of the people, like, you can steal other people in your group's fast passes.
Huh.
So if they're not going to use it, so like, let's say they're older, like the Matterhorn will fuck up your back.
Okay.
So, some people are too old to go on the Matterhorn.
Right.
I'll take your Matterhorn pass.
Okay.
Universal had a different issue. I think that was an interesting dichotomy. Universal's a little more parent friendly. If you have a kid that's too young, you have the first parent take the ride, and then you get like the child lane. So when they get back, they take the kid, you go on the ride.
Gotcha.
Whereas in Disney, they were a little more accepting of like disability. So if you have a wheelchair, you're overweight, they'll like get you in there. Whereas Universal, like if you're above a certain size, you will not fit in these rides, which was like I've only done Disney. So jumping over and seeing that, it was like, oh, that's weird that they just can't.
Right. Because you think at the end of the day, Jesus. They want as many people in their rides as possible
Right.
to increase revenue. But maybe it's just a matter of like restructuring stuff. They don't want to do it.
I don't even know. Yeah.
How was you had a Scratchy Burger? No, what was it? It was from Simpsons, and I should know this. Itchy
yeah, I
Scratchy
know.
Burger.
It's
not an
your
Itchy
show.
Scratchy Burger.
I'm just living in it.
Duff Burger? No, you got me the Duff hat.
What's the clown?
Krusty Burger.
Krusty Burger.
Yeah.
It was fucking delicious.
Okay.
It was a delicious ass burger. Yeah. So good
I don't see
times.
this vlogger anymore.
Not to take up the whole thing with this vacation. I think
Hey, it's the most interesting thing that's happened to me is you going somewhere.
Yeah, it was very fun. We surprised my girlfriend's mom with that she was going to it, and then I think I had one fun story from it.
Was the plane ride normal?
Remember.
Nobody like had to be taken out by a Navy SEAL or whatever on the plane. I've been seeing tons of
the plane
horror
ride
stories.
was normal.
Okay.
I had one fun story. I can't remember what the fucking story was though.
Was it involving Disney or Universal?
Can't
It's like a
remember.
crazy person in line or a malfunction on a ride that caused somebody to eject. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Actually, it was although while I was waiting in line for food, there was a gal in front of us. It was just like, I'm sure so many people have died, and that was her voice, have died at Disney. Like, they're just like, you're on Thunder Mountain and you're just gonna die. And it's like, someone in this group should look that up. And it's like, I will do it. And she looked it up and read it off, and I was delighted to be in line behind her. And she read off all the deaths at Disney, and they were 100% idiots doing dumb stuff. Like, one was there's a pond where someone wanted to swim across the pond, and they fucking died.
Yeah, they drowned. Yeah.
Why would you try to swim across the pond?
People are drunk. They're also
you can't swim.
Yeah, missing brain cells. That's, I think, a lot of it, aside from like malfunctions and stuff. But I imagine they want to avoid lawsuits so much that everything's like locked down. And one of my favorite YouTube channels is this guy that will categorize and talk about the different events where people have died on roller coasters and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's horrible, but I get like addicted to watching these because they're so morbid. Like, I want to know what happened. And it's crazy. But I'm not a roller coaster fan. I can't do it. Like, even the ones, they're like our local town fair where they just kind of go slightly up and down. I'm like, nope, can't do it. Just my tummy, it gets all rattled up. I don't like it. Never liked it. Really? Can't do it. No. Yeah. But like skydiving, I didn't throw up or anything, and I enjoyed it.
That's like the same feeling times 1,000.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a concurrent feeling that you can track, but with the roller coasters, it's like up and down, left and right, and they go backwards, and just like, it's too nuts for me, man. I've never dug. Or the zipper. You ever been on the zipper where you're in a cage that rolls and then that whole thing is rolling?
I think the zipper is different.
Okay.
Because of the way the physics work and it's twisting on so many axes at once.
Yeah.
I think your brain needs to be able to have a guess at what's going to have next, and it just can't do it in the zipper.
I agree. That's like, I've been on it, and it's the worst experience ever in my life. But at least with as crazy as skydiving is, like, I can feel what it starts out as and track how it's feeling further, and my brain can make sense of it. It's like, okay. But no thanks to roller coasters. Let's hope you had fun. You didn't die. That's pretty cool.
Didn't die.
Yep.
Aside from that, like, immediately back to work, it's like, oh, everyone has COVID.
Yeah.
So go ahead and move everyone's office into, like, I don't know, a janitor's closet, a conference room. So that's going to be my day tomorrow, is like separating everyone's computers.
Oh, no.
And
can they not, just by the product of how they work, it can't be done remotely? Like, it has to be in the office?
Oh, it can.
Oh, God. I hate that.
Oh, it can.
I hate that so much.
But management doesn't understand.
Yeah.
But to be fair, no one understands how technology works. Like, I'm going to have to move all these dumbasses' computers. And it's like, you have a fucking laptop. Just put it in the room.
It's made to move.
It's made to move. You know that keyboard that I attached in there? You can move that too.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know. I don't want to deal with it. I installed AOL years ago. That's the extent of my internet stuff.
Jesus Christ. How do I attach it to the Wi-Fi? It's already attached. Did that for you.
It's wireless. so you can move with your laptop.
It was though. Like, I don't know how things have been. Like, man, and I hate talking about it. Like, I've been enjoying that. Like, I think we've been privileged enough. Like, we can avoid talking about it most of the time.
Like COVID stuff in general, or
yeah, and I have been. Like, I think it stresses me out to talk about it, so I don't talk about it. But like,
just like the fact that we've been able to skip or like not get it.
I think that crazy. And like very few of our family members have died of it. Like, I've only had one.
Yeah,
you got closer.
I got closer. My dad got really sick. I had an uncle or brother of one of my uncles actually passed from it. Oh, sure. That's the extent of it. But like my family has, I think a lot of them have got it. They've gotten vaccinated. Right. Oh, I just got my booster too a couple of days ago, last Monday.
Nice. I need to. Do you have side effects from the booster?
No.
Okay.
It was fine. I felt normal. My arm was sore, but that was like, standard. Right. Megan has this weird thing going on where when every time she gets it, it's like it pulls up in her arm where it just stays there. Like it's like a bump. Like her body isn't pushing the booster or like the injection in. So it's like it's there. Yeah, I don't know. It's like her body's trying to fight it away or something. But every time
probably is.
Yeah. And every time she's gotten the shot, she has that where it's like it's just kind of sitting there, or maybe it's just the swelling, but we think it's just pulled up there. We have to like push it around. I don't know if her veins work or whatever, but yeah, it's strange. But no, I felt fine and got it because Omicron is just lighting up everything, and it just sucks, man. It's like I feel like we take 2 steps back every time we take a step forward, and it felt like it was getting better, and then we have some concerts up a month from now, and it's like, are they going to be pushed? I hope not, but I hope the thing goes away, and it's not, and it sucks, man. It's just like a forever thing happening.
I did find it slightly like justifying in that like exclusively the people that got sick were the people that weren't vaccinated.
Sure.
Which doesn't have to be the case. So many people that are vaccinated are getting it this time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that being said, like people that are like coming up to me is like only people that get the booster get it. Like, okay.
Get what?
Yeah, is that the way that works? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of bro science going on, and it's annoying, man. I can't wait to be just past it, but I don't know what that feature even is. But yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, been holding it down while you've been gone.
Yeah, you've been playing all the games. Tell me what you've been playing, what you've been watching.
I played 5 minutes of a bunch of stuff. Like I told you, I jumped into XO1. That was really cool. Really laid back. I dug the physics of it and getting used to it and stuff.
It does surprisingly mix things up.
Yeah, because
when you play a little bit more.
And you can kind of choose how you want to play it, where a lot of the terrain has, almost like Tony Hawk, you might have mentioned it last time, where it's like you can use the
Tony
terrain.
Hawk's a good comparison,
yeah. To like almost use the hills into a half pipe to excel you, to take off, then turn into your disc mode and just drift around. And there's also a lot of weird architecture going on that you want to investigate.
Yeah.
And there's like secrets. I don't know if they're secrets, but like if you go to some of the places, there are glowing orbs that you can collect.
I did find a secret. I found one. I haven't found anything more.
What'd you find? Or just one of those things?
I forget what it did.
You know what? The
storyline does not interest me whatsoever.
I don't even know what the fuck is going on. The first level flashes like the team that died in the Challenger or whatever. It's like a weird, creepy team of astronauts.
Looks like, yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
The only plot I understand so far, and I don't know how, I think I'm close to the end, but also I don't give a fuck about the plot.
It's just fun to fly.
I know early on the concept is the XO1 is like, if we're going to be traveling planets where we need to navigate future, we need to stop thinking about spaceships like normal spaceships.
Yeah.
And that's that concept. It can increase its own gravity. And I think that was the cool thing is like you want to hold the button going down a hill and release going up a hill.
Right.
And that takes a bit of learning.
It does. Yeah. To get used to knowing when to let go of it so you can ride that flow or that inertia off of it in Slingshot. Yeah, that's cool. I was playing that. I finished Guardians and loved it.
Ooh.
Although, have you finished it? Are you close to
it? I think I'm a decent ways away. I'm in the big city. I went through the museum, which I hope me going through that museum pays off because I paid a lot to go through that fucking museum.
Yeah, it's with the collector.
Yeah, that better pay off.
Well,
I paid so much.
Okay, you can actually, and that's cool with the storyline. It kind of deviates where I got a free ticket from whatever I did for that.
You son of a bitch!
Just from like playing it, I just got the free ticket.
That was like a third of our earnings. Like I remember when I paid that, I'm like, oh, we can no longer pay off our debt.
I didn't pay that debt later on. Yeah, okay. Is that the last thing you played?
Yeah, I got slightly past that. I fought these like invincible bros, so they put on armor when they're close to each other, which was a cool fight.
Yep, that was a cool fight. So
I'm not much further past that.
You're a good ways away. Actually.
Yeah,
There's a lot to play.
Rocket is pissed at me though right now. Rocket is not talking to me.
Yeah, I did enjoy like when you meet up back at the at your ship and having to kind of talk to people, and if you find something in the world, you can present it to them and unlock different dialogue.
Right.
That was really neat. But there's quite a bit of game after. Like it's surprising after that point that you're playing. There's a lot to play, and there's a point where you think you're at the end, then you go backtrack and kind of do something else, and then go fight the last boss in the last sequence. Cool. It's a very cool game. The ending, I'm curious to get your take on it because not the story beat, like the actual way they end the story, but they have this end sequence that's really clunky at the very end. Really clunky. And just like there's clunkiness within the game. It's fine. But it's just like kind of takes the wind out of the sails at the very end. But I want to see your take. Maybe you had a different take on it, but it's at the once you beat the game. It's like this last little hurrah kind of thing. And I just did not like it. But overall, the game is dope. Really, really dug it. Yeah. Finished the campaign of Halo Infinite. I think you're still, I don't know if you even attempt to jump back in that game, but yeah. You played, like I played 5 minutes.
I have reached the open world.
Okay, well, you got a long way to go. Man, beyond that, jump more into, because I know you're playing God of War, I didn't play it on PC. I booted it up on PS5 because there's a 60 frame per second mode on PS5 and a new Game Plus mode that transferred over. But you played a little bit on PC for God of War. Why don't you tell me about that?
I have, and I tell you what, because I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think Guardians of the Galaxy is, and I mentioned this trying to get you to play it, is that like footage you see on YouTube does not do it justice. You have to have it on your hardware and see how fucking
and
pretty
I agree with
this
you.
game
it's
is.
Crazy beautiful.
Having gone from that next generation game or current generation game back to God of War PC, this is the best looking game in existence. Yeah. This game is stupid pretty.
It's extremely pretty. Yeah.
It is one of those games where the sum is more, or the whole is more than the sum of its parts, and all those parts are a banger. The music is good, the graphics are good, the acting is good, the gameplay is good, everything is good. Like this game is astounding. I just got to I'm playing on Give Me a Challenge mode, and I kind of wish I hadn't done that. It is just kicking me in the dick every chance it has.
It's tough, man. Like I think my initial playthrough was on normal, and it's still tough. So yeah,
I may have to go to normal.
I don't know if you can flop or swap on the fly.
They have had that since God of War 1.
Okay, cool. That's good because you don't have to be punished for having to go back, and they might have to reload the save at the extent of it, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I love the sequence of him just like, you think you're walking up to this chest Zelda style and he's going to gently push it open. Nope. He just like breaks through. There's a lot of collectibles, a lot of little trinkets and stuff to investigate. How's it performing on your PC?
Fucking magical. It is. I have everything maxed out and it is silky smooth.
Dope.
These graphics are insane. I can't believe I don't think anyone else has ever tried to do a single shot game like this where the camera never cuts.
Yeah,
never
I can't
breaks.
think of it. And this one they really stick to that. Besides you jumping into the menu, that's the only thing that stops that immersion. It's all one take.
Or like you die. Like that's the only other exception. Even the menu, a lot of the times you're actually transparent in the background.
Yeah, it never goes away. It's like you're always there.
So I just got to the part where the world serpent lowers the water level in the lake, and that cutscene, among many, there are so many cutscenes that have blown my goddamn mind with the spectacle. That one really rocked my fucking socks.
And you have to keep that caliber when it comes to God of War because they, created that with that franchise with like, maybe it's the first one where you fight a serpent on a ship and it's like attacking the ship at the same time.
That was 2.
That was 2? Okay. Yeah. I always think of that as like these crazy set pieces.
Wait. Oh, no. That was 1. That was I was thinking of a different serpent.
Gotcha. Well, there's many, a couple serpents. But they keep that going, especially God of War 3 has you like jumping on a huge dude and like attacking him. This
right
like
out
giant
the fucking gate. Also, this scene, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, with not
Atreus. This one. I was thinking the one with the boar. Where he's trying to help him hunt.
Gotcha. How do you feel about this story is different. I think they nail it with the dynamic with him and his son. It's a big part of the actual story. What do you think so far with Kratos dealing with the son and all the different issues?
So far, the thing I really love, that he doesn't know what to do without
the mom,
Atreus' mom. Yeah. That was really cool. The other thing of like he's trying to make his son not him,
right?
But his son is going to grow up in an incredibly tough world,
right?
I don't know. So I do know who Atreus is at the end.
Gotcha.
That was a thing I happened to walk in on.
Well, it's hard not to spoilers because it's been like 4 or 5 years, since this game came out. But yeah,
right, and that's gonna be incredibly. But I don't know. At this point, I don't think Kratos suspects anything special about his boy. I don't think. I don't know why Atreus has those scars on his face. I know he is sick in the past.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I assume that's where he gets the scars from.
Gotcha. Yeah, they'll kind of explain stuff in the story.
Yeah, but this relationship's incredible. I think the thing that I really, really appreciate, I was thinking about this last time I was playing, I'm so glad they don't give you dialogue options.
Yeah.
Do not give me the option to be good dad. Be fucking Kratos.
No, this is a game where I really admire them, crafting the story and you experiencing the story the way it is. Like I don't need, say with like something like The Last of Us, it's like I want to see what they have to tell me and what these characters decide, whether I agree or not. Especially in The Last of Us 2, there are some choices that like I do not agree with at all, but it's cool to, once it's done, to see what these characters did, and you're seeing how Kratos is dealing with having a son, and you're like you mentioned, like not wanting to be like him, his own issues with rage, with anger, but also you live in this crazy fantastical world where it's like you have to be tough. And it's nuts. But yeah, I love this game when it came out, and I haven't played it since, like, I was looking at my saves when I loaded them up on my PS5. 2018 was the last time I played. So it's like I finished it and kind of moved on. So it's cool. I'm kind of experiencing stuff the same way again. Some of my armor unlocks carried over. So my God of War, my Kratos is like doped out in gold gear and stuff. So I look really dope. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm super duper happy that you're getting to play this game. And I think there's a lot of PC players like you that, they haven't got a PS5 or PS4 or whatever. It's like they've missed some of these just classic PlayStation games. And so now they're getting the chance to get them. You have now Horizon's on PC. You have Death Stranding. Some of the other ones that are still cool, but not like synonymous with PlayStation. And so this is one where everyone has to play this.
I do need to finish Horizon. It's just so many hours. Like this one, I realize it's long. It's not super long.
Right. Not something like an open world like, Horizon for sure.
Yeah.
But that's dope. Yeah, you're coming along with the Serpent. Like you're already kind of in there.
Am I? I don't feel it.
There's a lot more after that for sure.
Okay.
But as I just booted up this weekend, I think I got to Freya, and that was about the end of my time.
It is interesting going from a Space Marine to this because of how different their control schemes are. Like Space Marine is face buttons are melee, shoulder buttons are for ranged, whereas this is ranged is up in here and Atreus is on your thumb pad, which I think it's cool that you play both.
Yeah.
On your thumb pad.
Yeah, you're liking using Atreus' abilities. It took me a while to like not trust it, but like to start leaning on him. And there is fights where you do need that extra bit of attack from Atreus.
I am, but that being said, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do Atreus run. So right out the gate, I threw all my points into Atreus and immediately regret that because he still doesn't do much damage.
Yeah, you can upgrade him further, but yeah, and he has like a cooldown time for his arrows.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He is cool. Just well fucking written. I really hope the next one does capitalize on this. That being said, did you see, not to jump too far into news just yet, but did you see the story about they changed the studio working on Twisted Metal?
They did, yeah. So it's not confirmed yet. It's still like scuttlebutt online, but it's Fire Sprite is tackling the game now, but it was Lucid Games before that. So
Lucid is known. I don't know who the fuck's
they're known. They made a game that came to PlayStation Plus last year that was this vehicular combat. It's Destruction All Stars, and it's this kind of the bones are there.
You can take it away from them. That's fine.
I see what you mean.
People talked about that for 24 hours and it was gone.
It's tough. It's tough because it's. I think they've since gone or like either have gone free to play or they're playing around with that idea. But it's this game that looks very Fortnite-y. You have vehicular combat, or like you can drive around and crash each other with these cars, but you can jump out of your vehicle. Right. It's stylized, it's cool, but it's also doesn't do enough to like, make it memorable. But I think the just bare bones wise, they've created something that I could see transfer to something like Twisted Metal. But instead, it moved over to Fire Sprite, and I guess the previous game director from another PS3 game where you're driving around and it looks beautiful, and I forget the name of the game now. I had it loaded on the L2RT podcast, but MotorStorm. That's that previous director for MotorStorm.
Oh man, those games were so fun.
Oh yeah, and so now that previous director is tied to this new reboot. They've taken it over of Twisted Metal, and I think they can definitely handle it because looking at the pedigree of whoever's involved in motorsport, that game was gorgeous and it was very fun. You can crash into people. I think you can transfer that to Twisted Metal.
That was the one where you could race like dirt bikes against like fucking semis, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
It was a great show off for the PS3's power, I think. And they made 2 of them, and then they just left that series, and it's always been. But PlayStation does that more than Xbox, where you have Killzone or Resistance, all these games that were synonymous with different eras that they just left by the wayside, and it's a bummer. But that switched over. Developers apparently, but nothing's been actually officially announced. It's just been stuff from insiders saying like, hey, here's what's going on, and it ends up getting out.
Did you end up playing anything
beyond that? Nope. I've been watching a bunch of TikToks. Been watching those TikToks, and
I am watching what's it called, Peacemaker.
Yeah, tell me about that. You liked it?
I don't know if you'd like it. I like it. I think the thing I like is I hate that so many anti-heroes are just like a slightly selfish asshole.
Well, you got to toe that line of being likable and still.
But most of the time
evil.
They're very heroic.
Yeah.
Like most of the time they are sacrificing themselves for others. This guy's a fuckwit. He's just an absolute selfish bastard, like going in like vaguely racist, usually sexually harassing his coworkers. Like he is not a good guy. But his dad is fucking worse.
So you kind of see like the imprint on him and why he's the way he is.
And they got to play his dad, your homeboy, the T9000 or T.
Are you fucking kidding me? That guy?
Liquid metal guy? Yeah.
Whoa, that's the only thing that makes me interested in that show. I love that guy.
I think the thing that would also get you, I don't know, I don't remember they've got one of the gals from Orange is the New Black, and it took me forever to place her because I haven't seen that show for so long. But she is so fucking adorable, and I love her, and it's her part is really good. But John Cena, also the intro. Can we just pull up the intro?
Yeah, sure.
You don't even need sound for this because it'll honestly get us censored.
What's the show called? Peacemaker.
Peacemaker intro. Because I hate so many of these like high fidelity shows or whatever. Yeah, it's on IGN. Always do these like super intense. You got this pumping music, and then we're gonna like have stuff subtly changing and show the logos and who are these people. They did a fucking dance number.
This is the intro to every episode.
This is the intro. I've watched it every time. I never skip this intro. That's the gal from Orange is the New Black. I don't remember who she played.
Oh man, why am I not watching this show? I just didn't like the. Oh god,
it's also got awesome. That guy from Don't Look Up. Which did you watch? Don't Look Up?
No,
it's a good one.
I've heard it's cool. I gotta watch it.
That guy was fun. Also, John Cena cannot dance. I don't think he has the flexibility.
No, and he's like an athlete kind of guy. But yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is.
I've never seen this.
And it is James Gunn. It is genuinely.
Is he actually directing it?
Yep, he is writing and directing it. Okay. So it has his stank. There you go.
Yeah, that guy is. Oh,
was he the 9000? What was his number?
It's like the T800, 8100, one of those. The liquid metal. I always think of the liquid metal guy.
Right. That being said, it's not that funny. I think the one guy who looks like a Power Ranger is pretty funny. On the far left. But it's kind of like The Boys, not quite as good as The Boys.
I can see that though.
It is kind of like The Boys. So,
wow, no, that intro is more than enough to get me to watch that show.
Yeah,
wow.
I will pay you $5 if you can manage to skip that intro. You won't.
No, I already can't. Yeah, it's. I just didn't like his character in. The actual movie.
You're not going to like him anymore here.
That's the thing. So
you are not.
No, I didn't. And it's like I didn't like him. He was fine. He was funny. He was just so much of an asshole where it's like there's nothing likable with this guy where I want to watch a show with him.
Would you like it more if he was more racist and sexist? Because we can go there.
I guess if he's getting shit on, like if there's a balance to it.
He's definitely getting stabbed and shot a lot.
Okay. Just like me and Megan are rewatching Seinfeld for the first time. Well, I've seen it years ago.
Oh, boy.
And the character of George, he's the worst person ever.
He really fucking is. He's like, I didn't actually watch the show until I was in Chicago, like whatever, 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he's constantly getting laid, yet constantly complaining about how he can't like get women and all this shit. It's like
No, he's the worst. He sucks, but the show does, I think, a pretty decent job of shitting on him all the time. Like he's always getting bad luck and kind of reaping what he sows. Right. So they balance that. If you're going to have this character, that's fine, but you want to see them get some kind of just events happening to him. And people are always roasting him, make fun of him. So I think they do a good job of balancing that out. But man, it's tough sometimes with him because he's just terrible.
I think it shows that, like, so Larry David, I believe, has said that he based George off of himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he gets so much attention as just garbage person.
Right. But it's a great show. It still holds up, man. We're watching on Netflix. I love it. And we actually jumped ahead and watched on Curb Your Enthusiasm. They do that mock reunion. And they do a great job doing it where it's like it never really happens and they just try to do it within that reality of the show. And seeing those characters back again, it's really good. But I've just been watching a ton of that on TikTok and that's about it. Nice. Well, again, we got some news we can jump into.
Yeah.
Got some quick fire stuff. A lot of NFTs, and we can, however much time we want to spend on NFTs. But Konami celebrated Castlevania's 35th anniversary by selling NFTs. So I have an image here of what they actually sold.
On what platform, though? That's the thing, because can't you sell them on multiple platforms?
You can, and I do not know where they sold it, but they sold it somewhere. So it was some kind of auction-related NFT thing. So they sold this image itself for $26,000. Quite a bit, but they had a bunch of these like backdrops or open world kind of images of Castlevania. All of them sold for $160,000.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that's how they celebrated the thing.
Although terrible image.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, and that's where the weird corporation stuff, legality comes into play. They sold this as an NFT, but you don't own any of these images to like reproduce to make your own game or make whatever you want to do.
Though
you do, but it still has like these things tied to it. At least with this NFT, so they're very careful where it's like you own this image of Castlevania, but these characters you can't then. That doesn't give you free range to make your own game with like all the stuff that you found in this NFT. They're still connected on like what you can do. So this one's a bit weird. But it's like when you come into play where companies want to sell you something that they own, they're also going to be like, hey, wait a minute. You can't use Master Chief in this thing because it's like we got to get paid still. It's like we still own this intellectual property, but they did sell these for a ton of money. So you can sell this image itself untouched and unmessed with, resell it as an NFT and it's fine.
I mean, are we going to get sued for millions of dollars for like putting this up on the thing? Like this is
no, and that's where it gets weird. It's like you could, right click. Everyone jokes about like NFTs with turn them into JPEGs. It's if I want to go and sell it, I don't have the rights to this particular image, but I'm not selling it. I'm just posting it up. But
all right, well now the challenge is I'm going to go sell this image to somebody on the street.
Well, NFTs have said, hold my beer. They're already doing that. So people are stealing other people's work, have been for a while now, turning them into NFTs and selling them. That's a big issue with our community where NFTs have been this thing that are championed by people who are fans of NFTs saying like, hey, if you're an artist, you can actually sell just an image as a digital image, make money off of it. That's cool. But people have been taking other artists' work and selling them NFTs without them knowing. And just like on the market, your stuff already exists somewhere. Somebody else is profiting off of it. And it takes so long to try and track it down and remove it. So it's already kind of eating itself. So that is happening. So that's a bummer. But
it's just another thing that artists have to deal with out there.
Yeah. And if you go on like Twitter, like I'm following it all the time. I'm like with NFTs, I'm like do you ever watch Tim and Eric?
Tim and Eric Awesome Show?
Yeah. There's that spaghetti character. He's always like peeking out of this like shrub and kind of watching people.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like that with NFTs where it's like, I like to see what's going on, like the reception online and on Twitter, it's majoritively negative. And especially with artists, like a lot of them don't like this. There are some that do definitely, but a lot of them, I always see like overwhelmingly hate on NFTs in general with artists, but
yeah, it's insanity. I don't get it. Do you see the article about like Troy Baker? Like,
yeah, you want to switch to
NFT?
that?
Is that one of the stories?
I have that. Yeah,
I didn't see it. I immediately skipped to the comment section, and it was a hard cringe from that comment section.
Yeah, it's every week. It's like every person or company that wants to come out with an NFT goes, it might work for us, and then they realize that there's just only hate with that. I mean,
someone could potentially figure it out.
People have. Well, look at Konami with Castlevania. They're like, well, we sold this shit for $160,000, so people are buying it. But I was just gonna pull up the actual tweet here. We can check out. But yeah, so I have the actual breakdown of what happened over the weekend with Troy Baker. So he got in some heat after announcing his involvement with a Voice First NFT. So Voice First is a platform for audio-based NFTs, including involvement with other voice actors and celebrities. So it allows creators.
What does that mean?
Well, other people are tied to it, is what I mean. But the actual like software, there's something going on with it. So it allows creators to sell the rights to an AI voice generated by them to then be sold individually to anyone for whatever use they want. So people can pay for the rights to use Troy Baker's voice-generated audio for like in a game, in a movie, in a CD, or like, like a soundtrack, whatever. And he's signed on to be okay with that. Andy Milonakis is also one on there. There's a bunch of different like voice actors.
So only one person gets it then? Because to my understanding, that's how NFTs work.
You're right. But in this case, you can buy every time. Like anybody can come up, pay for the rights to use it, and they get it. I don't know how it works with NFTs because it isn't singular. It's something that can be shared a bunch.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. So you're telling me that these voice actors have worked up a scheme where you can pay them money to do acting in their game.
But I see where you're going because it already exists, right? That's something you already do. But this is because the AI is doing the generating of the voice, it's a way cheaper option. So I listened to a podcast. Troy Baker has a podcast he does with a couple different creators. So Mike Bithell is one of them, Alana Pierce. They do it every week. It's called Watch, Play, Listen. After he put out the tweet, they then did a podcast basically roasting him because nobody else on the panel is fans of NFT.
Okay.
NFTs. So they like asked him all the questions that we have. It's like, did you look into this? What were you thinking? Did you expect the backlash? And he's honest about it. And they did a good job of grilling him and asking him these fair questions.
What's his answer? I'm too pretty.
Yeah, don't hurt me. I'm too pretty. He said he didn't look into it.
I will still forgive him. He is too pretty.
He's too pretty and he's dope, but I think he'll be fine at the end of the day. But he did say like, I didn't look into it that much, which is a big, that's one thing where it's like, it's tough because he's a smart guy and tying your name to something, you got to look into it. But his angle was he was more interested in what they pronounce as far as like the possibility. With this, you can have an indie developer, game developer who can't afford Troy Baker for like a flat out performance. They can then go this cheaper option, pay for it, and still have their game voice acted. From his perspective, he was like, I like that idea where people can still create stuff and it's cheaper and they can make what they want with it. Some people did bring up, well, it's like then they can make you say crazy outlandish stuff with your voice. Are you cool with that? His response was they already can do that. There are already like voice algorithms that exist out there that aren't, tied to this, where people can upload his voice or snippet YouTube videos to make him say whatever he wants to say. He was like, people can already do that. So I'm not really concerned with that. I was more interested in like supporting these creators to make something cheaper than requiring like Naughty Dog's level of money to like pay him for a performance.
I don't buy that. I think he just didn't look into it.
It's possible. Why wouldn't you? That's where it's like, because he's a smart dude and your reputation's on the line.
What evidence do we have that he's a smart dude?
I've listened to him speak. He seems like a eloquent and intelligent guy.
He can play guitar good. Have you seen that that credit scene in after BioShock Infinite where he plays and the other girl sings?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that fucking scene.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's so good.
No, he's a great singer, great performer. But I think he is an intelligent dude.
Okay.
Because also we haven't seen like energy drinks by Troy Baker or condoms or whatever. It's like he's not tying his name to anything. He's smart enough to still research stuff and to at least withhold his stamp on stuff because I'm sure people are approaching him every day for like this new thing. But this company got in and he thought it was cool and agreed with it and went forward. He's also not backtracking. He's still going with it. But it's just the latest NFT anger that's online.
Well, speaking of Troy Baker, so the newest DLC was released for Far Cry 6. We have Pagan Min, which
I listened to a review of that.
Sounds like it is more of the last DLC, which I kind of want to check out. It sounds kind of up my alley. Ooh, is that a new Moon Knight trailer I'm seeing?
I think this thing just dropped. We can watch it if you want to.
Buddy, we may need to...
so I'll check out the...
watch it live.
I think the DLC is called
funny.
Control.
Please fucking be funny. Yeah, it's called Control.
You think it will be?
I hope so. The comic is.
So yeah, they've... was a couple of weeks ago, it was the first guy from Far Cry 3. Voss.
Yeah.
And now it's Pagan Min, Troy Baker's character, which is cool. I like this idea a lot.
It's interesting that they're both taking sort of like a time loop rogue-like.
I've heard the roguelike title applied with this one.
I don't know how I feel about that, but it could be fun. I don't know. More AAAs.
And he's here to actually like voice the character again, which is cool. You're playing as him. I think that was the same deal with Voss. But yeah, it's a great way to tie stuff back to those older games. And what after this one, you have to imagine they'll go to 5 with that other dude who was that kind of like cult leader.
Yeah,
I forget.
It'd be interesting if they finally like make a statement on that. That was the biggest complaint. Is like I heard about that game is they almost made a statement and then didn't.
Yeah, interesting because I've heard that same complaint. And I thought going into I think what people wanted was them to tie this to the Trump party and like religious.
I don't necessarily know about that, but like there's a big concern of like conservative reconstructionists.
Okay.
And that very much falls into it.
I think that's fair, and that's what it seems like people did. They thought that was the vibe going in, but what I didn't realize is that they actually ended up leaning more towards cults. Like there's that, there's well-known cults. There's I'm blanking on the name, but there's that one was it somewhere in America, in Texas, that was, they were like taken over by the U.S. government. They killed a bunch of people. And it seems like it's more tied towards that kind of stuff, like just cultish things, and not like American or religious stuff gone crazy.
This does remind me. I have to do a quick cut, but so my girlfriend's crazy into like documentaries and stuff that I can't give a shit about. But she started using your HBO Go account. We're not pirating it. It's fine.
You're pirating me.
Started watching this one on like scam artists, and they're like master scam artists, and these scams are, for the most, like very impressive. As far as scam artists go, these people are top of the league. There was one on Scam Rap. Have you heard about this?
What is Scam Rap?
All right, so this guy is a scam artist who is constantly scamming people. He's made, I assume, millions of dollars at this point with all these like super sleazy scams. And then he has rap where he puts on a beat and he explains how to do a scam. Not to the beat, mind you. He's just explaining it.
Okay.
And he was blowing up all these people listening to his music. And like, I forget whose producer was, who's the guy that did like Kick, Push, Kick.
Oh, Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah. So that guy's like, producer's like, why is this guy trying to make me sign him? His music is terrible. He's just talking. And he's fucking blowing up. You have to see it. It is insane. I have more respect for this man that is ruining so many people's lives.
He's a kind of explaining these scams.
Yeah. In the rap. Not to the rhythm.
Why not to the rhythm? Does he rhyme?
It doesn't matter. He has a huge following.
I know, but why not then just have a YouTube video where you explain this stuff?
It is.
You're going to have the beat.
And he's even like, when he's talking about like doing stuff, like he's like doing stuff on the dark web and some of the stuff, and it's like, he's playing this down, but this man definitely knows how to hack because he is doing some stuff that is fucking nuts.
Does he have the Guy Fawkes mask too and he's typing away?
Nope.
Okay, that's a hacker.
You can know who he is. I think the thing that was hilarious, though, he's like, I pay my taxes because I don't need the IRS on my ass.
Yeah, any excuse to No, but he's like an anti-scammer where he's revealing the secrets of these scammers. Or he is a scammer
He is the scammer, and he's telling other people how to do it.
Oh.
It is insane. It is one of the wildest. Like, this guy is like almost like a real life Joker. It is insane.
Okay, weird. What's the documentary?
I will have to look it up when I get
tell
home.
me about this.
I don't know. But it was nuts.
I would love, all I had to do if he was rhyming and with the beat, dude, he's going to, like, that's the next whatever, like a crazy artist. Like all you got to do is.
Then you turn their NFT into a JPEG copy, and it's like, oh, the beat is like. And then you turn that into a thing, and then you put it on Bitcoin, and then you do the thing. Gotcha. And I don't I want to spoil the best part, but I don't, because when you see it, you're going to be like, I got fucking scammed by this documentary. It is so good. Anyway.
What is my Nigerian prince not going to give me my money back? Is that what you're telling me? Wait, I'm retiring off of this.
I mean, that was one of the cool scams he told. It's just like a lot of it is just like pretending to be a hot girl on the internet and getting like guys to like pay for his flights to wherever he wanted to go.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Have you heard of the chick who's selling her farts online? And I'll have to be specific because I'm sure there's a couple of them.
I'm sure there are several.
But she's from the show 90 Day Fiancé, apparently.
Oh, man. I've seen more of that show than I want to in recent months.
Apparently, yeah. So she's one of the characters from that show. And
Can we get it from the guy with no neck? I want his
He's a fucking weirdo, but I know he
Can't buy his farts, though?
he keeps popping up. Nobody wants his farts, but he keeps popping up on the news for like assaulting people and stuff.
Oh,
anyways,
gross.
This chick selling her farts online, and she's pretty lucrative apparently, like it's making some money. But she was switching her diet to produce as many farts as possible, right? So like foods that would create that much gas, right? She did that so much where she ended up, it was another news story. That was a separate one. Another news story created because she had to go to the hospital because of all the stuff she was eating was causing her so much gastral stress.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But and I'll go down the TikTok rabbit hole of there's chicks like saying like legit, you can sell socks, you can sell farts, whatever that's being used, people are buying it. So that's a whole side of things.
That was the best and worst thing I've heard all year.
Now, someone had brought up online, they were disagreeing with their family whether if you fart in a jar, do you think if you throw that like a mason jar, you throw that lid on, is it going to seal it or will that fart dissipate? And it will, like by the time you get it in the mail, UPS, is it going to smell fresh as a daisy?
No.
Or is it going to just absorb into the glass of the thing?
I mean, think about the way particles work. You're going to fart. Yes, the fart will be in the container. It will all settle.
To like a solid at the bottom or just like be absorbed?
But they're particles.
What about a Ziploc bag?
Same thing. Like you think about it, when you smell a fart, you're smelling someone's poop, right? Like their poop particles released with gas outside. There's enough, like, even though there's so many poop particles in the air, but you still can't see them because they're fucking tiny. That's what's going to be in a jar, but it's still so tiny you can't see it.
Mine you can see sometimes.
Okay.
No. It's true, but I think those particles are diluted so much where it's not like you can gather them up into like a solid turd. It's going to be like so diluted by the air. But you're right. Like I think if you put a steak in a Ziploc bag and you mail it, you're going to smell something, right? Sure. But there's something there still emitting smells that it can still use. But yeah, with a fart, I don't know what you can still hold on to unless you're putting something solid in there. It's gonna still create smells.
You gotta keep that perpetual air moving. You gotta put like a fish tank like pump in there.
You gotta have this fan, PC set up that's moving, circulating the air.
Exactly.
Well, but that's happening online. People are shipping all kinds of stuff, including farts. People are buying them. I wonder if you could like fart on something, and that's the thing you put in the jar that would still hold the smell.
That'd be better,
right?
Because that's essentially the same state you left it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, it's a mystery. It's an enigma.
I like how we got here from
NFTs,
from NFTs to Troy Baker to I don't know how we got to 12 degrees of fart in a jar.
Can you sell NFTs as farts? Or farts as NFTs rather?
Buddy, so this is our next business model. We're gonna NFT our farts.
The last NFT thing I want to pull up because there's always every day, every week there's stuff. But this is from Mike Shinoda of Lincoln Park.
Oh, you don't gotta introduce Mike fucking Shinoda to me. Do you like South Park?
It's all right. I don't know.
Do you like Lincoln Park, bro?
Yes, true. You're right. No introduction needed. But Mike Shinoda was in some heat also last week. So he tweeted, he's a big NFT fan apparently. So he tweeted, so here's something people aren't explaining. NFTs don't have to be JPEGs, which is true. Imagine taking your favorite skin from Valorant and using it in Fortnite and not paying extra because you own it. Then using it in COD, Minecraft, even Twitter, IG. So many possibilities.
Hey, that's a cool concept. That's also not how it fucking works.
Yeah, so
you can imagine all you want. I can imagine a dragon right now. Does that mean it works? No. Jesus Christ.
It's tough, and I love this guy, of course. Like, forever.
Oh yeah.
But and he's more focusing on like what's possible. Is that possible? Absolutely. But is it incredibly hard to do? You have all these different companies, different engines.
It's also not how fucking skins work.
No. But I mean, these are things that can be moved over. Sure, textures. Like they'd have to be in agreement with all these companies to create these assets under the same engine, or at least engines that can talk to each other, and then have this marketplace use these things. But it's so insurmountably hard to do. No one's going to do it. But he's more focused on like, is it possible? Sure.
The key word you've used there is insurmountable. Like, so we talk about like, yes, textures, right? But textures have to be mapped to XY coordinates.
Sure.
They have to be wrapped around what are called bones and
Are they always JPEGs, or what kind of files are they using? Does it depend on the actual thing?
It depends. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you assign to it. You're going to assign UV coordinates. But the solution, like, yes, it is. That's why I say, you say insurmountable. No one would do this.
Right.
You would have to, it would be easier to remake the skin that you bought this NFT than to try and take this NFT and put it into my game. There is no world where this is a fantasy.
Well, in his world, it's the fantasy, but
sure.
Yeah, he posted that, and people, many of them game devs were like, I can't tell you how incredibly like insane this is, or hard to do,
right,
and unlikely. But if I could like see where he's coming from, yeah, of course that'd be a dope idea if you could do that, and it is possible. It's just so complicated to do, and maybe that's what they're fighting for, is this era, this utopia where it's like you can share all this stuff. Although, remember, companies are involved and they got to make their nut too. And I feel like these companies don't want you to make any money off the stuff that they do.
All right, here's my conspiracy theory. I'm starting it today.
Yeah.
NFTs were created by Carlton from Fresh Prince. That's what it was. All right, he was mad that you cannot copyright a move, right? That's not how it worked. You can do a compilation of different moves, but you cannot copyright an individual move. And he said, no. Crypto. We're going to crypto that. We're going to crypto. Yeah,
the Carlton.
It was
Can
Carlton.
you make the dance into an NFT?
Probably.
It's tough, man. Because and it's just like copyright laws. Like, how do you classify this as a thing that could be tied to an NFT? I don't know. Because it doesn't have to be, it's got to be digital though.
Sure.
I don't know, man.
You can make a movement digital.
Yeah,
but
you
can.
To
be an approximate movement, which you could probably do.
Like the motion capture data of that can only be, if it's that exact data, could be turned into an NFT.
But you have to make it approximate because no dancer is going to do exactly.
Sure,
none
but
of
then
this
you
makes
just
sense. It's all bullshit.
Then you dance slightly different with the Carlton, and you got your own, dance. You don't have to buy the NFT. Yeah, it's tough, and I'm at the extent of my knowledge of this stuff. But like I said, I'm just watching from afar, and I find the whole thing very interesting. I don't have, I have a point of view. It's like I don't think they're the future. Seems like they cause more harm than good with the whole environment aspect of it, which a lot of people don't bring up. But even that, I could still understand.
I don't know if NFTs have that problem so much as like Bitcoin does.
Sure, but to mint these NFTs, they use the blockchain, they use cryptocurrency to cause it to happen.
You can use it more simply, right? So like you hear the term like GitHub, right? Or people using that stuff. That's all using the blockchain, and it's using it very simply. Whereas like Bitcoins, you're having to solve just like ridiculous.
That's where you use the PC hardware to do it, right? It's like crazy math problems, and
you're doing it anyway with like GitHub and stuff, but it's not as insane as trying to handle millions of transactions.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, we can get into the weeds with it, but it's here to stay. At least the attempt to do it. You see companies like Konami sold, not the assets, but like stuff related to their games for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not going away. Right. So people are going to keep doing it. But I will say I'm open-minded to seeing a way that does not infect the environment, lets people have their fun, blah, blah, blah. I'm cool with people pursuing that. I don't think the current state of it right now is something that is that, but I want people to still be able to create the stuff that makes them happy making NFTs. I want nothing to do with it, but as long as they reduce or nullify their impact on the environment and everyone's happy, I would love for that to be a possibility. But I don't know how that works.
Right.
We'll see. We will see. Gavin got some other quickfire news. We can I'll remove some of my articles here, but we got Xbox boss Phil Spencer wants cross-platform bans to be a thing.
Awesome. Love it.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Here's a quote from him. So he's talking to the New York Times about this recently. Something I would love us to be able to do, says Spencer. This is a hard one as an industry. Is when somebody gets banned in one of our networks. Is there a way for us to ban them across other networks? He also had mentioned that he doesn't see Xbox as a free speech platform, which got a bunch of people's panties in a twist. But Callum talked about this. I think I can understand where he's coming from, because these platforms are for gaming, and it's not for you to, I don't know, it's say whatever you want. When it comes to like harming somebody else, it's just a place to play games. It's like, this is not where that should exist.
does remind me of a random quote. So I went to DigiPen Institute of Technology. My networking teacher was one of the guys that worked on creating Xbox Live. I remember this quote. I find it hilarious because he seemed very patriotic about it. But I found it so funny in the moment. So he was talking about, like you mentioned, the free speech and some of the stuff he was talking about when they were making it. It's just like, yeah, we encrypt all your data. So it's just natively, right? It's natively encrypted. Any inputs, right? So it's harder to hack, and we handle this and we encrypt everything except for your voice messages, because we will not be a platform for terrorists to talk safely. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, so freedom of speech works sometimes, except for when we don't need it to work, which is like terrorism is an excuse. Yeah,
that's everyone logging into Halo to.
Well, there was something in the news. This is years ago, and I want to say it was tied to like the PSN, PlayStation Network. But there was terrorist groups that were allegedly communicating there because there wasn't anyone policing or monitoring what was being said. Do you remember hearing about that?
I don't know about, like, it depends on what terrorist group. There's a lot of, I remember reading a thing about, like,
this was my buddy's terrorist group.
So recruitment tools, a lot of these games, popular games, basically, the most popular games with voice chat are incredibly powerful recruitment tools for a lot of these groups, like KKK.
Oh, you mentioned that.
Some of these, like, so Fortnite that's how they do it, or Rainbow Six Siege. I forget the third one, but yeah, if it's the most popular game on the market, probably PUBG at that time when I read it.
Minecraft.
If it's the most popular one, that's when people are going to be trying to get the little kids through it.
But see, that's when I would support.
Probably Farmville at one point.
Yeah. That's where I would support, whether it's that, recruiting people for these crazy situations, or people being hateful and like attacking other players. I would support them using that ban hammer. Mm-hmm. Just absolutely. But Phil Spencer brings up, why can't we, as a way of maybe deterring people from trying this in the first place, punish them so crazy where it would extend across all these different platforms, Steam, Xbox, Nintendo. I think if you could do that, that'd be dope, as a way to probably scare off people from trying it in the first place.
Yeah. I'm surprised that now that it's always like the people that are in the lead as far as platforms goes are so willing to lose a lot of the worst people in their groups. And so I feel like Microsoft is in the lead at this point. Maybe not by much.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're in there. So being willing to work with other people, I think that's a little bit surprising. But also Phil's kind of been a bro.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah. Bro, in what way? What do you mean?
I mean, just with a lot of the stuff they've done. And
they've been very inclusive. They have their special controller, which is still very expensive. Yeah. But they've done things like they were the ones to champion cross-platform stuff before Sony even wanted to do that.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it's because they're ahead. It seems like they ideologically.
I wouldn't say because they're ahead.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant.
I think that's the difference between Phil, and I feel like a lot of Microsoft as a whole, a lot of these execs at Microsoft have kind of been bad people.
Sure. I wouldn't know enough about that side of things, but you're right where these are still corporations.
Yeah.
And their goal at the end of the day is to make money. And you're right where it does kind of counteract what they want, where it's like they want the craziest amount of users at the end of the day, but also by having this ban hammer, removing people that are toxic, that does remove their bottom line somewhat, but at least they're willing to, whether it is genuine or not, willing to lose these people. Maybe they've done the data and they go like, this is like way less people than the majority. It's like they're just really loud. So we can afford to lose them too.
I would be curious what it does to the community as a whole. Does it make people way less willing to be toxic if they can be banned across multiple ones?
Well, these toxic people can still exist here. They just have to shut the fuck up. It's like, that's fair. It's like, okay, if you want to be racist, whatever, that's cool. Keep it to yourself,
right?
And you can play along.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least that. They're not saying like they're going into your history and finding who you voted for. It's like, just stop talking when it comes to this stuff and you're good.
Yeah.
But I think that's fair, and I would support them at least getting rid of these crazy, like insane people that are like, I've seen plenty of images online where somebody's in their Xbox Live like messages and someone follows them after a game within there to like leave them a crazy comment.
Right.
It's like, just get rid of those people. But maybe just the fear of this happening is enough to stop them from doing that.
I think it would be neat if you could combine. So like there have been games where I forget which game did it, but it's like if you're a cheater or you're a troll, they will pair you exclusively with cheaters and
there
trolls. So they're going to weed themselves out because they're sick of it.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting if you do that with different paradigms, right? Like there's a lot of dudes out there that if one woman speaks in the chat room, they're just going to be a dick.
There's still videos that trend online of that stuff like still happening.
Right. And that's why women don't talk in games largely.
Right.
So like, can we just stick all these guys on fucking Virgin Island and just leave them there?
Yeah. That's one way to do it. That also takes a lot of time and energy, but
I would really hope they would name that server
Virgin Island. That sounds cooler than it should be.
I know.
All right, Gavin.
Oh boy,
I do that. Well, I've talked to him more than I've talked to you.
Our names also aren't like verbally when you're like the way you
they're similar.
Your mouth. They're not that different.
They're similar.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin. We got Valve Steam Deck. It's on track to ship in February, so that's an update on that.
I wish it the best. I really do.
Yeah, it's a neat piece of kit. It's a cool little device. We got Microsoft revealed they stopped production of all Xbox One hardware in 2021 to focus on the series.
Which is interesting because below.
Sony, this is last week, Sony restarted production on PS4 consoles recently to curb slow PS5 production.
What an interesting twist.
Yeah, I think it's easier to make these PS4s than the PS5s with the complicated chips and started chip shortage. And Xbox already focused on the series a while ago. Right. It's tough, and I wonder if this extends the cross-platform compatibility or cross-generation compatibility rather going forward with PlayStation. Me and Cal were talking about that. There's already with this next year happening. You have God of War Ragnarok. If it does nail 2022, it's confirmed for PS4 as well.
Take your time. Take your time.
I say take your time. They tried to nail last year, which I had no faith in whatsoever.
I don't think anyone did.
No,
I don't think a goddamn person on planet Earth.
No,
the guy that wrote that down on the paper.
Are you sure? Okay, we had another couple zeros here, but
How much coke did you do before telling me this?
And maybe that was a plan before COVID, although they announced that during COVID. I don't know, but it's possible they can nail it this year, and it's still slated to be PS4 as well. Same with Horizon Forbidden West, PS4. So they have this year at least. Committed to cross-platform. Maybe they have to push it where 2023 is also more cross-platform. I don't know, but we'll see. That's a chip shortage across the board. And also tied to chip shortage a little bit is NFT stuff.
It's a good time to not be Cyberpunk as far as cross-platform timescale.
True. Now, Gavin, we can sort of end close to this. So there's been a lot of talk about PlayStation Game Pass. So I compiled all the stuff that's happened lately since we've talked since then. Okay. But we talked before about PlayStation's rumored answer to Game Pass. There's a lot more stuff about this recently. So Sony's Game Pass competitor service was sort of leaked by Bloomberg this about a month ago. It was codenamed Spartacus. It aims to merge PS Now and PS Plus and offer backwards compatibility with PS games going back to PS1.
Ooh, there you go.
That is the rumor by Bloomberg, and it seems like it's all leading up to that. Last week, Sony started pulling PS Now subscription cards from UK shelves. Mm-hmm. So they're already starting to, behind the scenes, get it ready for some kind of change, some kind of announcement. Now, Mark Cerny, the architect behind PS4, PS5, patent from him surfaced last week, detailing the ability to adjust clock speeds to allow backwards compatibility with older PS titles. So that could be the thing that helps them enable backwards compatibility, apparently.
So are they, with this cloud, are they then allowing you to run emulation of older games locally? That would be an interesting...
Yeah, what's tied to this, I'm not sure if their angle is streaming or you can download the games and play that way. If it's dealing with clock speeds... I would rather
do it local, that'd be great.
I think if they stream, they don't have to deal with changing any kind of clock speed. I feel like that's going to be you download it and then you run it off your machine. Mm-hmm. That doesn't solve the PS3 issue because that was the cell chip, and that's why it's been hard to go backwards compat with that.
Cell was kind of a mistake.
It had a lot of potential, right? But apparently it was like a bitch to dev for.
Apparently with the whatever the id Studio engine, they found a way to squeeze some extra performance out of it that they couldn't.
Well, the first party studios did push those games really, really far. Like if you look at the original Last of Us or some of the later Uncharted's, they really pushed that tech where it looked beautiful. Mm-hmm. But unless it was their internal studios that had the better understanding of that chip, all the third-party stuff, they were like, we don't know how the hell to make this work. And they did, but it was tough.
Yeah.
So now on Sunday, PS3 titles started popping up on the PS5 digital store. Ooh. And what was most likely an error, as they have since been removed. But maybe this is something that's going to be rolled out soon. It just kind of popped up a little bit early.
To be.
Right. So that's the extent of it. There was an update from, or a comment from Phil Spencer, head of Xbox. He reacted to the rumors this week that PlayStation is working on a similar Game Pass service, saying that he sees it as an inevitability and is the right answer for how to get games to players.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, some of the debate is, do you think we'll see, and I don't think this, but the way Xbox has gone, where all their first-party stuff is going to the service day one, that's a radical decision that was made early on that's paid off now. But they were arguably in a different boat than PlayStation has these like banger after banger after banger. Do you think PlayStation has these first-party games go to their service just like Game Pass does?
I don't know. I at this point, like, you may have to have Sony have a similar press conference to Microsoft. It's like, we just bought Joe Blow for $8 billion. We bought Stevie Nicks for $9 billion. We bought Elvis Presley's bones for $18 million.
But for what?
For
what?
To get more first-party studios.
They have a bunch. They have like 12, 13. You got Sony Santa Monica doing the God of War. You got Naughty Dog. I mean, the list goes on. They've got a ton of these top tier. I don't think they need to add studios to them. Right. But with the PS4 era, they had a lot of these exclusive titles that were like well-renowned. You have Insomniac doing all the Spider-Man games. I don't think they need to do what Xbox has done, but it makes more sense where the rumored, at least, aspect of this is that the big part of this new subscription is you have all of their backlog titles that you can jump into. Yeah. Or at least a lot of them between these eras.
I think part of it, though, is like, yeah, they have a lot of people that do exclusives for them, but they don't have to. Like, the what was that one game from those people? It's like you're jumping around on cars and there's mutants and you're shooting the...
Yeah, you're talking about Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, Sunset Overdrive. Like, they did that cross-platform.
No, that was just for Xbox. Yeah, but they ended up buying, because that was Insomniac. They ended up buying them. They were like, oh, that's cool. Keep making that, but for us.
Wait, they bought them?
Yeah, they bought them for quite a bit of money.
Oh, I actually didn't know about that one.
Yep. That got faded into all the news and stuff, but they bought them a while back. I want to say it predated Spider-Man. So a couple years after...
But Spider-Man was on PlayStation as well, wasn't it?
It was only on PlayStation, yeah. So once they bought them...
How does that work?
Well, once they bought them as a studio, it's all PlayStation under the umbrella, and they get that they secure the rights from Marvel to make that exclusive game only for PlayStation. Bada boom. But now Marvel isn't always playing that game. Like you look at Avengers or even Guardians, that's cross-platform. But Sony itself does own the exclusive rights to Spider-Man. So it makes more sense that whatever studio they would have gave Spider-Man to, it would have been locked to Sony itself because they own that title.
I mean, I think Game Pass became such a big deal because it's the best deal in gaming. Yeah. So Sony has to become a competitor to the best deal in gaming.
I don't know if whatever they do is going to be to that degree, though. Then I don't know if they have to at the end of the day. If they can offer something that is still competitive as far as offering a bunch of different games, like all their backlog, or at least a big chunk of the going back to the PS1, that's something they haven't had and Xbox has had for a while. If they can do something like that and it's tied to PlayStation Plus, you get your free games every month as well that they've already done, which that service predates Game Pass, where they were offering these dope games every month. And then Game Pass said, yeah, hold my beer. We'll add all this stuff on there.
Right.
But it's interesting because I love that they're now more competitive, because then we get the best deal out of that because we have these options now, which we didn't before.
Right. And I hope it becomes, even though we'd be paying like $40 a month between the two platforms, eventually one day saying, oh, because that's what we say about Game Passes. It's free. It's fucking not.
It's not.
It's not at all.
It's not. It's funny when a game releases there, it's like, oh, it's free, I'll just jump in. It's like, nope, you pay for it. But it's low enough, I guess, where you don't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
maybe one day with the power of NFTs, we can blend in Game Pass with Sony's Game Pass and Nintendo's Game Pass, and it can all be one NFT utopia.
Exactly. Or we just get way better at everyone sharing each other's accounts. That's getting to be my thing. Mm-hmm. Like,
we have a spreadsheet of, okay, who owns this thing? What's the password? Blah blah blah.
You want to cancel your Disney Plus and take mine? You can have it.
Yeah, you can use mine. I barely use it, but
I have like 1 or 2 shows a year I watch on that thing.
Yeah, that one's a bit easier to get rid of, but it's also cool to have those classic titles that you can watch.
That's nice. Have you watched so we're both Mando fans, right?
Yeah.
Have you watched Boobies of Boba Fett?
Mm-hmm.
Is that any good?
Boobies of Boba Fett. Yeah, I watched I think up to the 2nd episode. I like it.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's very close to Mando. It's well done. The effects are really cool. I like that main character. This last episode focusing on those sand people that are really cool.
Oh, the Jawas?
Is that what they're called? Yeah, they have like
they're the
weird
little
mask.
ones. I don't know what. I don't know. I can't remember what the mask.
They always hold that like that spear, whatever. Yeah,
I don't remember what
it's them.
Oh, it's something Raiders, Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders.
I don't know why I know this. I don't give a shit about Star Wars.
No, you don't. But you have residual information left over.
It is such a part of pop culture that I probably know what everything's called without ever watching it. It's like how I know every scene in fucking Office, despite the fact that I've never sat down and watched The Office.
What do you just go home and you just stare at the wall and end your day that way?
My ex used to just watch it perpetually in the background, so now I know the whole fucking thing.
You should be watching it as well because it's so great. All right, Gavin, well, I hate you.
Well, there was another show I want to bring up though, just real quick, unpodcast related, but My Gemstone season 2 is starting to roll out.
Yeah,
and this is why I regret not being single right now, because when you're single, you can just watch shows willy fucking nilly,
like a piece of shit.
And when you're not, and you find a show that you both like,
that's why you can't introduce the show to them. You can just watch it on your own. You gotta watch it, get your fill, like finish it, and then once the season's done, you'd be like, oh, maybe you like the show. Let's watch it together. Yeah.
That's no. I have a coworker who talks about, like, she complains about her husband because, like, she'll wait to watch the show with him, but he won't do it. So do it with her. And it's like,
that's divorce.
I should take that fucking money.
What do you do? No, you don't do that. You wait.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta wait.
Yeah.
I hate doing it too, but you gotta wait.
Yeah.
Come on, that's the unwritten rule.
But if they're never in the mood, it's like, all right, I gotta move forward at some point.
Okay, sure. If you have that conversation, shake the hand. All right. But if you're just willy nilly, just watching the end of the series, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gavin, we'll end on this one for the week.
Oh, boy.
It's your boy Kevin Levine, who's in the news. Ken Levine. Ken Levine's ambitious new game.
Your boy Ken.
Ken
What'd
Levine.
you say?
I said Kevin Levine. I don't know why I do that, but I think that's like a different, like a pop artist. Anyways, Levine.
Kenneth Levine.
Yeah, from The Office. Ken Levine's ambitious new game is reportedly in development hell. This popped off last week or the week before that. So Verge.com has the article. According to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Levine's studio Ghost Story Games was originally supposed to release a small game in 2017. The project was a sci-fi shooter set in a mysterious space station. The project's scope was seemingly bigger than the 30-person team could handle, including a complicated dialogue system that would morph based on player choices. That sounds pretty cool. As of 2022, the project has apparently been rebooted multiple times and still has no name or release date. Part of the delay stems from Levine's management style. Like previous reports from his time at Irrational, projects would suddenly get overhauled or scrapped after months of work. Studio members joked about convincing Levine to adopt their ideas via Kenception, trying to like trick him into thinking he made the idea. But
solid. That is I hope whoever came up with that pun is very proud of themselves.
Yes. But so I guess there's no dates, tied to this thing yet. They've rebooted it a couple times. It was supposed to launch in 2017. This sci-fi shooter. How do you feel about this? And do you think, what do you think about Ken Levine? There's been reports of him, like they say, at Irrational, having the same kind of deal. But what do you think about this?
Well, this game is never coming out. I think I've been a negative Nancy about Ken Levine since BioShock Infinite. And that's where I started to notice patterns. So I'm not surprised. I've had this theory for a while. Also, he did a GDC talk about like a lot of procedural elements and generating content that 100% backs up this article. It will, like, they talk about like making gameplay Legos, right? And that was a large part of his talk. And so, like, honestly, it could have been someone like saw that talk and like fake wrote this article based off of that and all the things he said, because it very much backs all of it up. So I'm not surprised.
Now, is that talk you're referring to, is there stuff within that he didn't use for Infinite? Like there was a lot of time spent on these aspects that just weren't through?
I think this talk was post Infinite. I think it was his headspace for this game. That being said, did you read the whole Bloomberg article?
I didn't. I watched or read bullet points from it.
Yeah, it is. It sounds like a shitty place to work, and like people will prototype something, and if it is not like a 10 out of 10 in the fucking prototype stage, he will scrap it. And he scraps so much shit, and people put in something and it kind of makes something slightly less work, so we'll scrap all of it. He's just scrapping everything nonstop.
He's a Tuscan Raider. for game development.
Or is he a Jawa? I don't know the difference between what they do.
Now, let's play some devil's advocate because I've read some of those same bullet points you brought up. And what if when you go into the studio, they sit you down and they say, hey, this is my style of, I want the best of the best for these ideas, and there's something you might work on that I'm going to scrap, or I might tell you to change. And going forward, do you agree to this kind of style? And we shake hands. What about letting people know beforehand, this is how it's going to be? Is there any kind of argument for that?
So it's not a fair argument, though, because that happens in every studio. Your stuff will get scrapped. Your ideas will get dropped.
Okay.
Everything is going to go like I worked on that one game. Like, most of my shit got scrapped. You have to not take it personally.
Then how's that different then?
There is a point where you have, as a director and a designer, you have to have a cohesive enough design to lead people. He is not leading people anymore. He is just doing. He's like the Joker. You wouldn't know what to do if he got the bumper. He would just do. Yeah. This is him doing, and all these people are kind of his fucking victim because none of what they do matters. You can make something, it will get scrapped. This has been how many years in the making? Nothing they've done.
A good chunk of time. Although I don't know if I fully agree that it's all for nothing or a waste, because if he is telling people beforehand, this is kind of how we do it.
No, that's every studio.
Okay, and that makes more sense to me. It's like everyone kind of going to this world knows they're going to work on stuff that gets scrapped, but it seems like even more so here.
Yeah.
But that being said, he seems like he's trying to farm the best ideas, right? So he's going to give people more time to play around with these ideas that maybe they want to implement in another game or another studio that didn't work. It's like, hey, play around, make something cool here. But we're trying to find the best idea and farm it. So if it doesn't work, throw it out, try again. It's like, it seems like you could also argue they're giving people, and maybe they don't feel this way, and I totally get it, but they give people the room to create stuff, and if it fails or if it doesn't work, giving also them the freedom to scrap it. Because a lot of places where if something's not working, you have to still shoehorn it in because you spent so much time. But what if something isn't working, then you remove it because at the end of the day, it doesn't work.
You also run into the opposite of that problem, though. If there's that old-fashioned phrase, limitation breeds creativity, and they have basically unlimited budget.
Yeah,
they're just doing, and some people can pull that off. Rockstar has unlimited budget.
They do, but they still put out games.
They put out games. Valve has unlimited budget.
Right.
Occasionally they will, sometimes maybe in a decade, put out
once every 20 years.
They put out that card game.
Yeah. True. And Alex, but even that had different iterations.
Oh, that's true.
I
forgot about Alex, yeah.
Oh, just a little game.
I know you're going to fangirl over.
Oh, yeah, not
no
just
one
me.
else played it.
Oh, God damn it. You're right, and I hate you that you're right. But, no, it's interesting, and I just, because he did, not clap back, but he did respond in a interview with this podcast group called Arcade Attack. So he kind of talked about the new project. So he says, a quote, "I think people will be surprised but unsurprised by what they see," whatever that means, "in equal measures, but it is,
it means he couldn't decide on a thing to say about his own fucking game because none of it's designed.
Trying to keep it secret, but it is, it's quite something, quite interesting, and I'm looking forward to showing it to people. So there's that little snippet.
Can you read that back to me? And who's the guy from Jurassic Park? Goldblum.
I think people will be surprised, but unsurprised by what they see. So it's that kind of thing. Goldblum.
Thank you.
It's the worst Goldblum impression ever.
It wasn't the worst.
If you get the that's 90% of it, but you still have to sort of get his cadence.
But who can really? It's not like a Schwarzenegger where literally everyone can do it. It's like his what's he call it? Hemming and hawing. Like it's hard to do.
It is, yeah. And he still sounds incredibly smart doing it. So he did say, Levine also said he and the team has the luxury of being able to scrap ideas that aren't working. That was my nugget that I was holding on to, where it's like, I don't know if that article does go into depth getting these people who are key to the team saying like, hey, we like that we have all this time to work on stuff and to find like the best version of the idea. That being said, you need a producer who's still being like, hey, yeah, that's cool. We have a deadline though. We got to pick something and go with it. Right. I don't think they have that where you have this crazy, well-known creator and Ken Levine and this budget from, I think it's like Take-Two is actually funding the project.
Yeah. They got that Grand Theft Auto money.
Yeah. And so they know his pedigree and they're like, hey, blank check. But even then they have to be like, okay, well, it's been 5-6 years. You got to make something. But I could see where if it is a positive environment where people can just create and like scrap stuff, work on the best possible idea for years, that could be cool. But also if it's like where you're saying, or other people are saying, where it's like if your project is, you feel it could have potential, this mechanic or this idea in the game, but it's scrapped after years because he has like a bad day where it's like, I don't want that anymore.
Right. The conception.
Yeah, that's a bummer if that's what's going on.
He is trying to be an auteur. Auteurs don't work that well in games. They work in movies, they work in books, comics. There's a lot of places they don't.
It seems like you need them for the spark of the idea, the creative like path that you can then get the team to go on, but then they got to bounce. It's like you need the people to actually do the work after that. But if he's still in the mix vetoing stuff, that's not the greatest idea.
Right.
But that was in the news and it was interesting. And I wonder how long before we see any of this game. Later on that podcast, there was another quote. He does say that they're waiting to not show anything until they're ready to show it. So we may not see anything until it's like going to release that year. So I don't know if we're on COVID 56 and then this game drops.
That was the other thing that he has to get over. They mentioned in the Bloomberg article is like he'd have this really cool idea and then someone else would come out with it. And so we'd scrap it. Bruh.
That's always going to happen though.
It will always happen.
Yeah. I mean, Halo Infinite's grapple hook, Doom didn't stop them from doing that. Who knows how long they were actually working on it or whatever. But it's just, if you have a cool way of doing it, then it doesn't matter if it's already implemented somewhere else.
Dark Souls invented literally nothing. It is one of the most loved franchises of all time.
Sure.
Invented nothing.
What I really like is this dialogue system that can morph based on what you do. I really like games that try that. And I always feel like I'm pigeonholed into these like good choice, bad choice, or whatever. But if it can dynamically reflect what I'm trying to do, I love that.
But at the same time, as we saw backlash on this internet, and we got to get done with this podcast here soon.
Well, not here.
We saw backlash this week. People so pissed that if you want to see all the content in Dying Light 2, you're going to have to sacrifice several children to do it. Yeah. It is like that. I've seen so many GDC talks where they talk about really at the end of the day, no one wants divergent dialogue. No one wants any of this shit to change. They want to see everything on their first go. And they'll be so mad if they can't do it. And these people put a lot of money into trying to prove that wrong, and they fucking didn't.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a interesting dynamic, and people getting mad at Dying Light. They did roll it back, I think. So I have the actual tweet pulled up.
They rolled it all the way back.
So part of the issue was how I think the team worded it. So I have it right here. So here's the actual tweet that blew up. It was to fully complete Dying Light 2, stay human.
But they didn't say, they did say fully in the tweet.
They did, to fully complete.
No one reads. They read the picture.
Yes, and that's, I think, the heart of it. To fully complete Dying Light 2, you'll need at least 500 hours. It's the same as walking from Warsaw to Madrid, or 34 hours more. So that people went, outlets went, cool, let's run with that. 500 hours. Do you want this? No, nobody wants a 500-hour game. Yeah, no one does. Right. But it's saying that if you want to do every absolutely little nook and cranny thing, that's how long it takes. They did reveal it's like if you want to do the main campaign and the story stuff, or like the side project stuff, the side missions, it's about 100 hours. Which will put it in line with like Cyberpunk. I played for about 100 hours.
And I think they said main story was 20 hours.
Yeah, I saw that thing too. So if this is also adding the side stuff on top of the main storyline, so it's even smaller than that. So, and when I read that, it's like, yeah, that's cool. That's not the entire game. No main campaign is that long, unless you're playing, I don't know, like Minecraft forever.
That being said, like, it kind of makes me wonder, with all the expansions for Dying Light 1, how many hours is that game?
Yeah, good point. It's incredibly long. They did announce recently that they're going to support Dying Light 2 for at least the next 5 years, so they're going to keep rolling out DLC stuff.
And they've proven that they will do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They still, what was it, last year, whatever, they were still DLC. It's nuts. But yeah, people blew up and was plenty of op-eds written about like, we don't need games that are this long anymore. We love these games that are shorter and sweeter. We're all adults now. It's like, I get it. That's just not what they're doing. And they thought that maybe this was a marketing thing to appeal to people, but it's not really how long it takes to be at least, the main campaign of the game. It's very strange to me, but yeah, people got very angry because I don't want to play a game for 500 hours either, but you're not though.
I think the thing that pissed me off about this one though is like I went to multiple game news sites and everyone had their pitchforks out.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys know that's not what they meant.
Right.
You know better. And they just pulled out the torches and pitchforks. The fuck was the point?
I think and I never really shit on these outlets because there's a lot that I follow and that I like, but they got to pay the bills too. And they got to play the game too. There's like the thumbnail YouTube stuff where you see people freaking out on the thumbnail. It's like, they got to pay the bills. And this is them doing that a little bit by.
Can that be our thumbnail for?
Yeah, we never really do the react. Sometimes I'll take a little stills.
It's
cringy.
It's painful.
But they're also, they're jumping on it and it's something that gets you to click on it. And so there we go. That was what turned out into people thinking that it's 500-hour campaign when it wasn't.
Did you see their most recent trailer for it though?
I haven't. I've kind of been on media blackout, but it's coming out soon, right?
I don't think the newest trailer was too spoilery, but yeah, it looked cool.
Okay.
I'm down. Also, this game's coming out in like a fucking week.
Very soon.
Yeah. And what's the other big one coming out this month? There's another one.
Early next month is Forbidden West, which I'm super stoked for, but it's like early February. Horizon Forbidden West. Right. And then you got Dying Light 2, which I don't know the actual date. Because they pushed it back so many times.
Oh, Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
That's next month?
That's next month.
I was thinking of the fucking motorsport games.
Oh, no. Then like to see, what's the actual date now? February 4th?
Oh, they moved it to February.
Yeah, that's close to the
There's something.
Horizon.
Elden Ring is February. Like it's
February, I think is going to be a banger for sure. It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gavin, we'll end it there for the week. Where can they find you online?
Drunk Devs on Twitter.
Awesome. Keep up with the show as well on Twitter @PlasticArtPod. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.